a high-level diagnostic scan, you guys. It was Trip. So the plot thickens. Maybe Trip is the spy. That's what Archer thinks anyway. So now in the next scene, we see Trip in the agonizer. And he's doing some real good agonizer acting in here. I mean, of all the agonizer acting we've seen so far, his is pretty darn good. He's like, like, he's really deep.
I love you so much.
I mean, it's just so over the top. It's just so funny. I already have an issue with the acting in this show in general. So, like, for this to be like over the top of that, it's just silly at points, in my opinion. He's in the agonizer. Archer is like, I know it's you. Admiral Black recommended you for the job. You were planted here by him. And, Trip keeps insisting like, no, it's not me. I've always been loyal to you. And then Archer tells Reed, to break him. And of course, Reed is all too happy. I mean, he's got a boner at this point to hurt people. So he just can't wait to hurt everybody. Yeah, Reed goes to work on him. We get now a scene. Archer and Hoshi are in bed. She's gushing about how great he is. But, she's still got her bra on. I don't think he's that good. Because, let's keep it real. She's still got her bra on. It's not that good. So Archer is like second guessing Trip being the spy. And Hoshi makes a comment about, how it would have been hard for him to sabotage with T'Pol right over his shoulder. And so Archer's like, maybe it's her. He gets a little Scooby-Doo about like, finding the clues here. So, he asks the computer to find T'Pol. Computer says can't do it. Internal sensors are disabled. So guess what, everybody? T'Pol has got the Vulcan gang, like the sharks and the jets, and she is going to take over the ship with her crew of Vulcans.
Vulcan gang.
They're Vulcan gang. She's got 2 Vulcans.
Now in HD.
Now in HD. Vulcan gang would be a good name for a band.
All right.
I'd name it.
Now appearing Vulcan gang. I'd go listen to them, opening for Vampire Weekend. That's what I'm saying. They break Forrest out of the brig, excuse me. Even though Archer's like firing at them. They retake the bridge, but they can't change course. They can't stop the ship. Basically, it's locked in autopilot until they reach the set coordinates. Archer tells them it's locked under some, random password. I can't unlock it, and we're just going to keep going until we get there. So even though, Forrest has retaken the ship, he can't really do anything. Then we see Archer. He's in the agonizer now. His acting, not as good as Trip's. He's not doing the thing, but he's okay. He's been in there for 10 hours. He won't break. He's tough as nails. Tough as nails, that guy. Forrest releases him and says, well, Starfleet basically said, well, since you're all the way over there in Tholian space, you might as well investigate the ship that you went there to go find. Here's where we get the most exposition that we've really gotten in this whole episode, where Archer kind of lays out the plan here, or the story. And this is where Scott was mentioning earlier, we get the tie-in with the USS Defiant that went missing in the original series episode, The Tholian Web. Basically, he tells them that the Tholians have detonated a tri-cobalt warhead inside the gravity well of a dead star. Lots of techno-science babble. I love it.
Oh,
it
yeah.
Opened, right? It's the best part
Reverse
of the
the polarity of the neutron flow.
Obviously, and if you haven't done that, then you should reverse the polarity of the deflector dish. If that doesn't work, you might have to activate the Heisenberg collectors, but that's really a last-ditch effort there, you guys. So the Tholians have accidentally opened a portal, basically, to a parallel universe. I hate when that happens. If I had a nickel for every time I've done that, I'd have a lot of nickels.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It happens like every day for me. Always opening up portals to parallel universes. So they opened up a portal to a parallel universe. They basically were like, we can't go through it because we don't know what's going to happen to us, and we're not capable of doing it, but let's see if someone will come in to our side. So they send out a distress signal, and sure enough, Starfleet ship, the USS Defiant, follows the distress signal through the portal and is now in the mirror universe, basically. Not only are they from a parallel universe, they are also 100 years in the future. And so the whole idea here, the whole point of this mission is to get this ship and to, get all this advanced technology. They're expecting to find, weapons, advanced engines, advanced everything. And it'll be like their secret weapon to squash this rebellion that they're fighting. T'Pol thinks it's all a bunch of hooey, basically. But Forrest is like, well, we're going to investigate it. Back in engineering, Trip and T'Pol have an interesting conversation where he says that he thinks that she's the one who sabotaged the ship and that, he was blamed for it. And she says, actually, you sabotaged the ship because I mind melded, without your consent, by the way, and made you do a thing that you didn't want to do, and then I mind melded with you again and made you,
forget it.
Remember it differently.
Yeah, she did it twice.
And she said, I lured you to my quarters with the promise of a sexual
Right.
encounter. I think T'Pol has some questionable policies about obtaining consent from partners. This is not good. I mean, there was a
Alternate T'Pol. We don't know what the real one's like, but we know that there is a basis for this in the original's head.
Not cool somebody without their permission. But that's basically how she got him to, do her dirty work, basically. They've re-engaged the cloak now, and they reach the coordinates of the ship. We get a clear shot of it. It's clearly the USS Defiant, NCC 1764. Also, in Discovery, they did reference the ship in the episode Despite Yourself. They talked about the Defiant being on patrol in a particular sector. It's supposed to be the same ship. And of course, as we've mentioned several times now, this ties directly into the original series episode, The Tholian Web, which originally aired November 15th, 1968. It's a pretty good episode, actually. I enjoy it personally.
And it's a season 3 episode, so the fact that it was good, is, you're not getting a lot of good ones in that season.
No, exactly. Season 3 started with the infamous Spock's brain. That's not really a great.
If you're starting with Spock's brain, right?
Yeah. Where the aliens steal Spock's brain, but somehow his body is still alive, and McCoy keeps the body alive. Oh yeah, McCoy keeps the body alive and basically turns Spock into a remote control car and just kind of uses controls to make Spock walk and move his arms and somehow still breathe and blink and have a heartbeat. I don't really know, but it's Spock's brain. That's the episode. It's not very good.
I'm sure you haven't had anyone volunteer to that one yet.
No. It does, however, contain the famous "brain and brain, what is brain?" line, because the planet of people that stole Spock's brain are sexy but stupid women. Because everyone knows women can't be sexy and smart. It's one or the other, everybody.
I mean, that's because
Gotta pick only
the two
one.
of us exist, and there just can't be anymore.
I agree. However, women can be sexy and smart. PSA. So,
the more you know.
Yes. So, the Defiant is being studied by the Tholians. Enterprise can't detect any human life signs. Forrest tells Archer, you know what is your mission? You dragged us in here. You lead the away team. You go and you download basically everything you can and then get back here. So Archer's like, yes, sir. He's all gung-ho to go do this thing.
I hope he had enough floppy disks.
I hope so. You can never have too many floppy disks, though. That's been my experience. Need more floppy disks to download the database. Yeah. I hope he was able to connect to the modem when he did that.
I hope it made that little sound.
Yeah. And the AOL sound.
Yeah.
There are people listening to this that have no idea what that is.
Welcome.
Lucky bastards.
Lucky you that you don't know what that is. You guys, you kicked me off the modem. I'm trying to get on the phone. Yeah.
Constantly getting free CDs to have free AOL.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
In the grocery store line.
Yeah. Yep. So, Forrest tells T'Pol he wants her to go on the away mission, but that he does not want Archer to return. So he is basically in charging T'Pol with either killing Archer or leaving him there or doing something, but ensuring that he does not return to Enterprise. So then, we kind of get a little back and forth stuff here going on. Archer and his team are on the Defiant. We see the ship is being gutted, and we do see classic original series phasers in uniforms. But we also, going back to our Tholian prisoner, they have awakened from the sedative. The sleeper has awakened. That's a Dune reference. And so they are basically doing their vibrating exoskeleton thing to let other Tholians know that they are there. And sure enough, other ships pick it up and they start coming over. So Forrest orders Phlox to kill the Tholian, which he does a little too happily. He's very excited to kill this poor creature. After he's dissected every other living thing on the ship, he now gets to blow up this Tholian. So he kills the Tholian, but the ships are still moving their way towards Enterprise. And then we see the Tholian ships do the thing that the Tholians are known for. They build a web around the Enterprise. So those beams of light that link up, it forms basically like this energy web. It encases the ship in it. Enterprise tries to shoot its way out. They can't get out. But the Tholians are just, they're shooting at Enterprise. Now they're visible. The cloak is, offline. You've got Archer and his crew on Defiant. They're bringing the systems up, engines and weapons and all that. And at the same time, we've got the Enterprise, which is basically on the verge of self-destruction because of the core is going to blow. They abandon ship. Forrest stays behind so that he can, buy the crew some time. And before Defiant can do anything to help, Enterprise blows up. And just the escape pods basically have made it away from the ship. And we get a big to be continued at the end of this episode. So, yeah.
Be in suspense.
I know, it's killing me.
So I was kind of surprised to see them have regular spacesuits. Because I don't really see that on Star Trek. They go to M-class planets.
Right.
So I was that's kind of cool. I like that they have spacesuits.
I mean, when you watch David Tennant's run on Doctor Who, all of a sudden, the Satan Pit and the episode that preceded that, he's wearing it's not the typical spacesuit, but it's the thing with the helmet, and
he goes to Mars, he has the orange spacesuit.
Right, and you didn't see that in 40 years of Doctor Who before that.
True.
Yeah.
Right, it's
Yeah, on Star Trek, I mean, you certainly do see their spacesuits from time to time, but you're right, Brooke. They so often are going to M-class planets, or they're going on other ships, or, they're going places where they don't need a suit. And certainly, on the ship, they don't wear suits, not like astronauts today would do. But it is always interesting to see that they've still got spacesuits, just like our astronauts today use. Yeah, it is cool that we get to see that. And it is neat to see one of the original series ships, which looks just like the Enterprise, and the bridge looks just like Enterprise's bridge. He even has that little Viewmaster that comes out from where Sulu would say, it's got
a periscope.
Yes, it's definitely like a periscope, absolutely.
So we're gonna use all of the naval terminology and stuff here.
Exactly. So this is part 1 of In a Mirror Darkly. Who knows what's gonna happen next? I do, because I've watched the second part. Brooke knows and Scott knows, but maybe no one else knows what's going to happen next. So, next time we get together, we're going to talk about part 2 of In a Mirror Darkly, the conclusion of this story from Enterprise. Ooh. Yeah, I know. Very exciting. Good job. I'm so proud of us. We covered this episode really well.
Even with all our digressions.
I know.
Really pretty good.
It would not be a Picard cast if we did not have at least 1 or 2 digressions or tangents, mentions of Doctor Who, mentions of Star Wars. These are all part of our show.
And we got sliders in there. Don't forget the
sliders!
Yes.
The food and the show.
What other sci-fi shows can we mention real quick?
Well, let's see, it was the 90s, so we had Quantum Leap.
Also, you said the thing about Red Dwarf.
Oh yeah, no. Right. Red Dwarf is my second favorite show of all time. So, it was the 90s. We have to throw in X-Files. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, right? Yes.
Battlestar